Hey guys, WantClue here. I hope all of you are doing really well and having a really great day. In today's video, we want to take a look on a new release for your Nerd X devices. So let's get started and right into it. As you can see, we are back again on GitHub and we do have a new release for the ESP Nerd Miner, QX Miner, whatever devices. It is the version 1.0.29 and we want to take a look on all the changes and then we want to upgrade it together so that you also get into this process and are not afraid of it, because it's super simple, super easy, and that's the reason I want to show it to you. So let's go over the changes that we do see here on GitHub. So the first thing is show pool badge on some home screen that indicate which pool is connected, if any. So this is giving you some sort of a badge on your screen, which is really nice, so that you do know, okay, I'm connected to this pool. Of course, this is a little bit limited when it comes to the pools that you can choose to connect to, because only pools that are implemented can show this badge. But nevertheless, even if you connect to a pool which does not have this connection or this badge, it is still connecting. It is just a nice feature of showing it on the screen, which is awesome. There's also a re-add of the links to the pool stats. So now you should be able to actually click on the link in your dashboard and go directly onto the pool stats page, depending on which pool you use. If you do use something like Ant Pool or so, then it's probably not working. But anyway, this is really great, and especially for the solo miner, it's really nice to have. There's also a fix on the clear fault flag for the TPS on init. It avoids the permanent weird common flag fault. What was happening is that sometimes with the TPS, which is the buck converter, which converts the input voltage down to a appropriate voltage for the ASIC chips, was sometimes on the initialization showing some weird fault flags, and this has been fixed and cleared here. There's also a added connection close header to info on the file get endpoint to prevent any clogging from connections. So now this should be a little bit smoother when it comes to actually retrieving information from the API of your NerdX devices. Also, there's now an input field for validators to the PID input fields, and it changed the minimum PWM to 15%. So which is a nice feature. So the PID is another way of controlling your fan. It is basically a different approach of how to control your fan. It's trying to, basically, if you think about it in drawing terms, it's trying to draw a smooth line for the fan curve. And the PID is also coming to the Bitaxe. I already worked on that. By the way, Shuften, we kind of worked together on PID. He did it for the Nerd QX thingies, and I was doing it for the Bitaxe. So that's coming in the next release for the Bitaxe as well. It's fantastic. It's working perfectly, and especially the feature that you can set like a temperature target that you want to achieve. For example, 60 degrees or 50 degrees, and then the fan controller is trying its best to actually achieve this temperature, which is just awesome. Also, another fix is there a return from the VR temperature as a float on the NerdX Gamma instead of an integer. So if you do already have a NerdX Gamma, I highly suggest you to upgrade to this version, because there was a small bug in it, but now that has been fixed. Also, there is a little bit of a change here when it comes to the display. So if you had a display and you were looking constantly on the hash rate, because you do believe if you take a look on your miner that you will find a block in that very moment, then you probably have stared on it, and especially on the hash rate. There was it's not a bug, it was like an inconvenience. The hash rate was overlapping the gigahash per second drawing on the display, so we moved it over a little bit, so now it's no longer overlapping the background. Also, there's a little bit of polishing when it comes to the fan controller on the UI, as well as a detection on the fan polarity made by default enabled. This is really nice. It could be that you do have a fan which does have another polarity when it comes to the PWM signal, which is not the case to most of the devices, but to some it is the case, and therefore it's nice to have in here. Also, there is another nice fix, which is create influx DB bucket if it doesn't exist, which is really handy. It is really interesting to see here, and it is a nice feature because if you do connect now your NerdX devices to any InfluxDB and there's no bucket, it should create one. Only show you must restart after a setting was changed that needs restarting. That's a great fix. It's also been implemented and it's coming in the next release of XOS, so it does not tell you this all the time. Also, there's now support for the Nerd Eco, which is another nice Nerd device that was developed in the open source Miners United community and was funded by ours in June, which is really awesome to see, and now it is supported in this version as well. The PID in general was added, and as well as there are some default values to the UI, which should correct board-dependent default values and drop-down lists. So this is really nice to see. And in general, there are some improvements of the UI and on the found block overlay, which is a nice thing. Maybe you guys are capable or able to see this. There are a couple of pictures out there on X, for example, of some people trying to show how this looks, which is nice. It's an awesome overlay. And fun fact there, if your device ever finds a block, then this overlay will only go away if you reboot the device, which is fantastic. In a dashboard like this is a Grafana dashboard to monitor your devices. Stick to this channel, make sure that you subscribe and like, because I'm making a video about it and I want to show you how easy it is to set something like this up on your own devices. It's really simple. It's just basically one command that you need to type into your command line, and then you have something like this. I want to show you that, so stick with this channel so you don't miss out on that. Now let's go back to the NerdQX Plus that I do have here with me, and we want to download and update to the latest version. So the first thing that we want to make sure to do is we want to go over to settings, scroll all the way down, click on check for latest release, and we do see ESP Miner NerdQX Plus bin. Let's download that. Let's put that into download, and let's do the same with the WW bin. Let's make sure to keep both of them. Now we can browse for the file. The first thing that I'm going to browse for is the WW. Let's go to the downloads, the WW, and let's upload that. Now it's uploading it to the NerdQX Plus. Why I'm choosing the website first, it's pretty simple. The reason being is that I want to make sure that the device is not restarting instantly, because if you do update the firmware first, your device reboots. I just want to quickly update the website, because if there are features on the website that are not working, that's totally fine. It's still hashing, but the firmware is causing a reboot. So let's quickly wait for that. Now we scroll down again. We browse for the firmware, we flash it, and now we give it some time. It will upload the firmware to the device, then the device will override its flash memory, and then it will reboot. Then we need to wait a couple of seconds before it actually finishes doing so, and then we can take a look on the dashboard again. This process usually just takes between 2 to 3 minutes. Not really that long. As you do see, it's passing by really quickly, and we do see in the top right, success firmware was successfully updated. So now let's give it a couple of seconds. I do see the screen next to me. It is already rebooting. It's already up and running again. Let's click on dashboard, and we do see some information. So let's give it a couple of seconds here. We are currently disconnected, which is an interesting thing to see here. I've never seen this new version before, so this is the first time for me as well, seeing this. A primary pool connected. This is really interesting to see. So it's some sort of a monitor, a health monitoring here for your pool connection. And we do see on the top that we are connected to the primary pool. Here, if I do scroll down a little bit, let me see if you guys can see this. Here we go. In the bottom part, I also do see pool information currently connected to primary pool. We see the host, we see the port, and the user that we are connected with. So that's really handy and really lovely to see. Now let's hop over to settings if something has changed here. We do see the Wi-Fi settings, primary fallback, mining, and we do see the fan controller. We can choose the mode that we want to use. I want to go for experimental PID, and I want to set the target temperature to 60. Now I want to save on that, and let's see what it is actually doing. So this is the automatic fan control using the PID. There is also another classic automatic fan control. So now you have basically 3 options: manual, classic, and experimental PID, which is nice to have. On the Bitaxe version, the classic automatic fan control will be removed with the next release, but it's really nice to have it in here because it's working way better than the automatic fan control that we had on all these devices before. So apart from that, I don't really see anything else that has changed. If you do click on flip screen, we see now it appears that you must reset the device for changes to take effect. That's really nice to have. So now you no longer get this warning all the time. You only do get this if you actually need to restart the device. Let's click on InfluxDB. Here you do see I'm, for example, connected to my Influx. Everything is the same here. And on the system, we see we're working on the version 1.0.29. So apart from these minor changes and a little bit of refreshment when it comes to the UI, it is looking really great. And I'm really looking forward to all the new changes that are coming up here. It is just a fantastic device. It works perfectly, and I'm really happy about these changes that are coming into it. That's it with today's video. Thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.